Hi, this is Majin, and here's some comic reviews for you. We have Earth 2, Cyclops, Ultimate Spider-Man, Futures and Original Sin. Anyways, let's get this thing over with. Here we go with Earth 2. Now, this one is your pretty much, we need to settle things down a little bit because we need to introduce some plot because there's just been a little bit too much excitement going on. Now, we do get the return of a certain heroic character of a certain green color, and he makes a very dramatic scene when he comes back. We do have a death. Now, my major complaint about this book is this: we have Lois appear, and Clark goes, "Lois," and Lois is like, "Yes, it's me, Clark. I don't understand how this happened, but here I am." And then, whatchamacallit goes straight to Smallville. Now, here's the thing. You have Mom and Pa Kent looking like they're not normal. And let me see if I can get your picture. Like right there. Which I can understand. You know, you see your son who you think is dead and he's looking like a demon. Okay, I get that part. But they let him in. And then they have the part where they're like, well, Lois she allowed herself to be hacked. So this way Jimmy can get an idea of where she is and see what she's seeing. Now, Superman is talking to Bedlam, and you hear Lois going, "Jimmy, hope you're getting this." I'm like, really? You're saying that with Superman in the same room, and he's got, it looks like he's, alright, maybe he's in the other room, and he's got super hearing. I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? Anyways, it ends with a bang, and here's the deal. If you want to know what's going to be going on for that Earth 2 World's End, you better start reading because you're going to be playing some catch-up. Is this a good book? It's decent. It's not any worse than the two Batmans I just raped. But other than that, it's okay. I mean, they're not what I would consider a strong book right now. But right now, like I said, they have to settle things down. They have to introduce some plot, and before they can go to the next part. Cyclops, number 1. This was actually a really, really good book, but it's by Greg Rucka, so what do you expect? Basically, it's Scott Summers. He's in space, and he's trying to figure out, what he's trying to connect with his dad, and, Dad's not really knowing how to be a dad. And it was a really good starting point. And it's one of these things that I don't know how they're even going to handle this because Cyclops has no memory of this stuff. So how are they going to put this into the main form of the universe? On the other hand, by the time he gets through, being with his dad, Cyclops is going to be a number 1 total badass. So I'm really curious to see what the final transformation is going to be. And like I said, this was actually a really enjoyable read. It was simple. It's clean. Art was good. It didn't do anything risky, but at the same time, I don't think it really needed to do anything like that. It just tell the story of who these people are. So this way, if you've never really read the Starjammers, now you know, and it gets you going right from there. So overall, this was, like I said, really enjoyable. Ultimate Spider-Man, number 1. This is going to be up for discussion later. I can tell you this much. This was actually... I'm really torn with this because this had me going, oh man, you went there. Basically, I'll word it this way. The story was solid to a point. You have an introduction of these 2 spider beings. They're stealing some stuff. You have Miles trying to debate, do I tell my girlfriend that I'm Spider-Man? He has got a nice little talk with Mary Jane. And then 2 events happen. One is we learn a supervillain is still alive who was thought dead. And 2, we learn the identity of the person in the shadows. And I'm telling you, that last page is going to be open for some discussion. And I don't know what to think about it right now because part of me is like going, you don't need to do that. This book is solid the way it is. But I don't know. I just hope they don't do anything horrible to this story, because Miles has been like a fantastic replacement. The story has been great, and I want this to continue with Miles. So we'll see what happens. Alright. This is probably the two that you're waiting for. And we will let the watcher's eye determine which is the better one. And as you can see, it's pretty much stuck in the middle. Alright, maybe that didn't go as spectacular as I wanted it to go. But anyways, ask your comic store if they still have eyeballs. Okay. These are the two big events for Marvel and DC, Future's End and Original Sin. Future's End takes place 5 years in the future. It would be highly recommended if you find the Zero issue that was on Free Comic Book Day, because it gives you a good idea of what's going on way into the future. This book doesn't really give you that kind of detail, because it takes place right after the Zero issue started. Basically, imagine Age of Ultron in the DC universe. Instead of Ultron, it's Brother Eye, and Brother Eye was created by Batman, and there was somebody else involved. Now, Brother Eye went crazy, and it basically started infecting other robots, killed people, turned those superheroes into, or people who were worthy, into robots, and they would go hunting other people, which you can see kind of, this is what's going on here. Now, what happens is Batman Beyond his job is to go into the past and prevent certain events from happening, but unfortunately he screws up, and now through no fault of his own, and he ends up 5 years off time, and because the events are already starting. So that's the gist of what's going on. Now, there is some killing involved, because we have Stormwatch, which kind of makes me wonder how this team even happened. You have Grifter, for those fans who like Grifter, and he's shooting things up. You have the return of Firestorm, which of course ruins another potential Forever Evil ending. And you have the death of a major character at the very end because of Firestorm. Firestorm doesn't necessarily kill him, but it's his inaction that kills him, because somebody wants to get a little action on the side versus being a superhero. Now, the story, for me, this should have really started with a bigger bang. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of key things in here that happened that were eventful. So for me, I was looking for things that I could piece together, like, so this way I can try to connect things to go, like, to ground the story a little bit. So this way I can go, okay, well, that makes sense. I understand why Grifter's like that. I kind of know why, Firestorm is like that. I know what to deal with Stormwatch. But for me, some of that stuff wasn't as grounded as I was hoping to be, just because, like, Stormwatch has a brand new team that looks pretty much like the old team, but you add a couple more characters, so it's kind of like, well, what happened to what happened to that gap? But anyways, that's besides the point. Will you like this issue? This is the thing about Future's End. We're dealing with a weekly series, and we're dealing with a lot of issues here. So this storyline, I have a feeling, is going to have a lot of ups and downs. So, probably like Batman Eternal, we're not going to really be able to judge where this is going to be going, even like 2 months in. We're probably going to have to wait until at least 3/4 of the way in, where we can get a bigger picture and we get a better idea, because there's some high-level things going on. There's going to be a lot of things that aren't going to make sense until later, until they start feeding us more information. Honestly speaking, this would probably make a better trade type book, because that way we can get a lot of issues at once, but DC doesn't know how to put out trades in a timely manner, so I don't know if that's going to work out. Will I continue this? I'm definitely going to continue reading it. This has me very much intrigued. The start actually was decent, but it's not like a 10 out of 10 book. This is a little bit above average for a beginning book. I would have really hoped for more of a middle push type thing. Anyways, that's that. Now, did Original Sin beat out Future's End? The style of writing for the two different stories were completely different. While Future's End, I was hoping for the Big Bang. Original Sin was the detective story, Who Shot the Watcher. And Jason Aaron, I have to admit, did a fantastic job with that part. The story builds really slowly. It's like, here's the Watcher, Watcher goes boom. Then you have this really, really good part where you have Wolverine, Black Widow, Captain America, and the real Nick Fury eating steak, and you can see the Quinjet sit in the parking lot to this steakhouse. And they're having just like this regular meeting that they normally have. So that part was really interesting until you get the phone call from Thor going, there's a problem up on the moon. And Nick, you better come. So from here on out, then we start really wondering what happened to the Watcher. Somebody behind the scenes is gathering a team of superheroes. They're pairing people off, sending them on their merry way. Like, for example, you have Ant-Man with Emma Frost. You have Punisher and Doctor Strange. You have Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, and Gamora from the Guardians of the Galaxy. You have the regular Avenger team. You know, the Thor, then Iron Man and company that were there, also investigating. Now, we do get a clue at the very end as to who stole the eye. We don't know who they're working for, though. And this is definitely, what they're alluding to is that everything started from the original sin. And nobody knows what that original sin is yet. But we're going to find out through all the miniseries and crossover books that are going to be coming later. Now, I think the art was fantastic. The story was really good. It really drew me in, and it wanted me to go to the next page and to the next page. I think the team of Doctor Strange and Punisher is fantastic. I'm really curious to see how the Gamora, Winter Soldier, and Moon Knight team is going to work out, because that is a deadly team. People don't survive when they meet that. Even the Emma Frost Ant-Man team should be entertaining, because you got Ant-Man making advances against whatchamacallit. Black Panther is also in here somewhere. I think part of me thinks he is I thought he was with these guys. But anyways, what really kicks things off is the mindless ones. There's a mindless one rampaging through New York, and he's got a very familiar artifact that he stole from the Watcher. And that's where things really start going, okay, shit's hitting the fan, and we gotta man up, because we have to figure out what's going on and figure it out fast. So, I think Aaron did a fantastic job at setup, but here's the deal. If you're looking for the bang, you know, let's get this thing going, let's get this some excitement going, you get the excitement in the first few pages, and then it kind of slows down to like a very slow crawl as the heroes try to piece everything together. Now, keep in mind, this is a detective story, so Aaron succeeds, you know, very well with that part of it. So that's what I mean by these are two different books. I think what you're going to find is there's going to be a lot of people who are going to like it. These two stories are so polarizing that you're going to find people who are going to like, it's going to be gravitating to one or the other based on their taste. Personally, I like Original Sin more only because it's a shorter series. Now, if Future's End was an 8-issue series also, you know, I'll tell you this much, honestly, I would be very interested to see how both of them turn out, and actually I wouldn't be able to clearly go, this appeals to me more because it's shorter, it's more of an investment in terms of time. I don't have to worry about spending how much money to get the whole story. Also, what kind of concerns me is all the crossover books that are going to be coming up for Future's End, because there's a lot of them. So this is definitely going to be a huge money sink, and that concerns me. Now, it's not to say this isn't going to have its own, but at least it's a shorter series. But, like I said, I honestly think that if you're on the fence for both of these books, give it a try. Give both of them a try. Future's End, though, I think you're really going to have to give this one more time to figure out if this is going to be something you're into. But this one, you'll know immediately from that first couple issues if this is going to be something you want. Anyways, let's get you some codes, because I know that's all you guys want. You just want some codes. So what did you guys think? What did you think is better, the Original Sin or Future's End? And let's see here. We'll get you Cyclops. Provided I can. I don't remember seeing Unite at the comic store, so I ordered that. So I am getting that. And this thing just does not want to come off. So if I can't get it off quickly, you might not be able to get a Cyclops book. Really? Okay. No Cyclops book, but I'll see if I can get you an Original Sin book. Oh no, it's Black Panthers with Emma Frost and Ant-Man. I knew he was with somebody. And of course it is one focus. There we go. There's still books I need to read, but I'm getting kind of tired and I want to play some video games. So we'll see if I can get those done. Like and share. Facebook, Crunchyroll Anime Reviews. Watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. That is an awesome anime. And we'll have more reviews and stuff later. So until next time.